We started the day off with some coffee and some gluten-free waffles. Now it's time to hit this thing. If you're new to the channel, I got this about 2 months ago. I was supposed to finish it. Everybody likes to see complete projects. Well, I took on too many projects at one time and now I'm just getting back to it. I'd like to finish this today. It was built in 1868, and the backstory a little bit is my buddy, his father passed away, and when he was moving out, he said, "Would you like this?" It was broke to pieces, and I'm just putting it back together, seeing the history again. But before we start, there's one thing that I have to tell you. I'm accident prone. This is what happened. My finger almost got cut off. My fingers are straight, and that one, it's not straight. I cut it down to the bone. Needless to say, you won't want to miss what happened and the story behind it. Let's get started. Well, you know what they say. Measure 100 times and cut once. Measure twice, really, but that's exactly what I done. Is measured a bunch of times, made sure it was right. I only have one piece, and it's the old piece from it. And I want to make sure that it fits down inside of here as like a finished product. It used to be the door that would flap down, but I want it open, kind of an open look. Wow, that was 3 hours worth at least of just constant work. The only thing that needs to be done now is let it cure and wash that window up, wash this mirror up, and that's about it. I'm missing 1-2 knobs, and that's it. And we'll be putting it into the kitchen. It looks pretty awesome. I'm happy the way that it turned out. Transitioning from the antique hutch over to the flower farm that I'm getting mentorship from. In the southwest part of Virginia, harvest time is slowly breaking us in. We're picking, between 40 and 50 stems a day at the moment. That'll turn into almost 500 bunches a week, which a bunch is a quantity of 10 stems per unit. I'm walking through this first field. There may be around 100 blooms to cut this morning, so I'm gonna get after it and see what I can get. These will be pretty productive and have us on our toes, especially for 2 of us. From the truck, I took the dahlias over to the cooler where we store them until we take them to the market. And from that point, I fertilized the rest of the day and worked on the irrigation system a little bit because it was very hot today and the dahlias were starting to wilt. And so we kept the irrigation on for almost 4 hours. And probably do the same tomorrow. Well, we're getting to the point where we'll be watering them twice a week. But from that point, I guess now it's story time. So a couple of days ago, Miranda and I started harvesting our sweet peas for the first time this year. And we got a decent amount. Our little girl, who is 2 years old, she was sleeping in the car at the time, but we still had our little boy Vincent, and he's 8 months old. And we kept taking turns back and forth, picking throughout the trellises. Miranda done most of the work on the sweet peas because it is her favorite. She was whizzing back and forth through those lines. It could have worked better if we had a taller trellis system, maybe something like 6 foot, and we have some shade so they reach a little bit higher as well. So in the storyline, the next thing that would have happened is that I was meeting Miranda in town to pick up a reese hitch off the back of our Highlander, and I seen that the wheel was smoking when she pulled up, and we only live about 5 or 10 minutes from town. And so I told her, don't go any farther. I didn't want the rotor warped or the brakes wore off or anything, because I just replaced everything, all the hardware inside of there the night before. And it just wasn't that one, it was 2 of them, the rear 2. So anyways, I told her to just stay right there. Of course, I was frustrated. I went home and I was going to bring my mower back with me to go mow over at the cut flowers and with my mentor and help him out and weed eat around there, mow. And as I was in a rush, getting tools to work on the car once it, cooled off in the evening and that the actual rim and the rotor would be cooled off, I was pouring gas into my mower. At this point, like I said, I was in a rush, and I had it up, tilted like this and had my hand here. Of course, you can see that. So the gas tank that I was using did not have a hole in the top of it, so it could create a suction to go faster, and I was in a rush. So I had my hand like this. I pulled my knife out, and I started stabbing the top of the gas can, and the knife slipped, ran across my finger. There's about 10 seconds of graphic material that you'll probably want to skip through because I recorded a little bit as I was doing this. It was lots of pain. My finger was flopping like crazy, but here we go. If not, just skip ahead. Oh, okay, let me set this up. Oh, gosh. Dripping blood. Come on. I'm trying to a tourniquet on my hand. Got my hand up in the air. Oh. I can't move my finger. Oh, almost literally cut it off filling up a mower. Oh my gosh. I'll keep it far away, but you can see my middle finger. Alright, I gotta go. After tying my finger up, I had it entwined and it was really tight so it couldn't lose blood. I was freaking out, didn't know where to go because, I mean, it was limp. It was numb at the end. There was blood everywhere. It wasn't the first time I ever cut a finger off. I actually cut my thumb off, or I cut most of it off, and they sewed it back on, luckily, with a knife, of course. I drove to my neighbor's house. I sped out of here, drove to my neighbor's house, and she said she knew something was wrong with me as soon as I hit her driveway, and she bandaged it up and it looked like it was straight down to the bone. That was rough. And then after that, my finger was numb at the top, and I still had to do something. I forgot the mower completely. I had the tools in my truck. I was just frustrated. I left and went straight to the car. And what happened was the caliper of the car locked up. So all of this happening all at once, and my finger's on fire, and I kind of just forget about my finger and start working there. And, that's what frustration gets you. Miranda always tells me to slow down. And I tell her I only have one pace. My pace is too fast. The frustrations come too quick. And what I've realized this week is that I truly need to slow down. I need to keep telling myself that. Proclaim what your purpose is and go in boldness. And when you slow down, don't forget to take the time to find growth within yourself. Don't become stagnant of what you're doing.